Hi, my name is Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about being very careful about who you give your time to. Now, this can sound very general, but you guys don't pay attention to the very little tiny micro details of when you give someone your time, even if it's just for a few minutes here, a few minutes there, just an hour here, an hour there, even if it's a friend, if it's someone you really like. Just giving the wrong person your time can actually, even if they're not an energy vampire, certain energies will transfer over. I have made videos about this, but this is to a more minor level that actually little tiny pieces of who you hang out with, even if it's someone you really like, it's someone who you just really resonate with. Maybe they're your soul friend or your soulmate, your future partner, whoever it is, someone just could be anyone. This doesn't talk about specifically people who are energy vampires. This could be some of the nicest people in the world, but you still have to be very careful of giving your time to them. But why? Now, I have made a video about your energy does transfer over. So you become who you're hanging around, but what happens if you don't really hang around someone that much? Like you really don't really mess with them like that. Maybe you're just like friends and they're nice to talk to. You still become them, but in a different way than you can actually realize. So, like, just think about it like this: energy always transfers, no matter who it is. It could be over a phone, it could be by text message. If that person's going through something, and maybe that's just a lonely person, and they finally have you to talk to, and maybe you like their company as well. Maybe it's just someone who's a friend and they're nice. Maybe it's just someone to have around, but that person is not technically right for you to hang around. Because keep in mind, every time we cut someone out of our lives, someone else will come into our lives. There's a law in the universe that relates to that. It's literally anytime you make a vacant hole, anytime you create some kind of energetic hole, it's always going to be filled. It's always going to be filled. So you'll notice anytime you lose a friend, another friend comes along. Another friend maybe from your past comes along. A new friend in the future comes along. And for the people who actually catch on to this, you can play with the universal laws and be like, because keep in mind, God's never going to let you be 100% alone, especially when there's people around you. Because he always will have a way for people's angels to introduce each other to each other. And you're just going to be introduced to someone new after you cut the old person out. That's why you guys always see these brand new friends. When you cut off people, you cut off everyone, and you're not talking to anyone anymore. You're completely by yourself, and you just notice people from your past pop up. Now you're talking to people from your past again, because there's a law in nature, and basically the creator doesn't want us to be alone. So always someone's gonna come along and kind of fill that void. So a little secret is that you can actually create, if you're not happy with the set of people you're around right now, remove them completely within a week to 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 at the most. Week is when people start getting introduced. New people will start coming near you and you won't even realize it. It's kind of funny. It's like, oh, okay. Most people do not realize it. Like, hey, I was just without any friends and now there's new people kind of talking to me. Like, these are the most unlikely people. I've never really expected these people to come along and talk to me, but I guess we're kind of compatible. We're talking to each other. It's like just the most random thing, but that goes to show you that law exists. So when you cut out people, new people will come in and new people will replace, and you'll just find yourself talking to people and you're like, how did we get talking? Like, I talk to this person every single day now. Now that could be a really good thing. I'm laughing because you guys, once you play with it, it's kind of like shaking up, what's that called? The snow globes? When it's like everything settles at the bottom of the snow globe and you shake it up and you're like, oh, cool, it's snowing again. So that's how it'll go. It'll snow. Some people will come around, some people will stick around, and then you'll notice people who are never around you, new friends, just people from the past, stick around for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you're talking to them every single day. You're like, where did this come from? Well, most people don't even realize, like, where did this person come from? But you can do that. But in the current, because we all have someone we talk to, well, most of us do, I hope you guys do, have someone you talk to every single day. Let's just say you're a social person. You go out somewhat, you talk to people here and there somewhat. You always have that person who checks on you, etc. Now, certain people like that, you do have to keep in mind that energy always transfers. So when you dig a hole at the beach and the waves come in, the waves are going to fill the hole and sand will fill the hole, unless you make a new hole and then new water, new sand will fill it. Especially when the new wave comes, literally new wave. So you have a selection as to who you want to be in your sand hole. Now, yeah, you want someone friendly. Yeah, you want someone nice. You want someone who cares about you as a friend. Just someone who's going to be able to talk to you every day. Just because we're humans. It's good to be around other humans. It's good to talk to other humans. Sometimes you notice you have a distance between, because this life is just full of just different sections of the road. So once we get down this road, and maybe you stop talking to a certain friend because, not because you're mad at them, not because you're not because anything happened. It's just like you guys just kind of went different ways for no reason at all. There's a reason, because the new wave came, it filled the hole in again. That sand was out in the hole. You guys were meant to learn different lessons, but these people are here as lessons, and it's not mean, because we all have different pathways. Because like, think about life as like a street. So you're going down this street, this street, this street, this street, this street, this street. So is that person in a different part of the neighborhood. Eventually you might bump into each other again, and you might learn something from each other again. And maybe that's the person as a friend, as a soulmate, just whoever. It could be someone you do a project with in the future. It could be someone who helps you really just expand as a person, but you don't see them for 2 or 3 years and they pop up back again. You're like, I wonder why this person's popped up in my life. It's always a lesson. So now, the people who are currently around you, be very careful of people who are around you and have served their lesson, but they're becoming a bad lesson. So maybe that person's very nice to be around. It's nice to have their company as a friend, as more than a friend, either one, because people can be nice to have around. Sometimes you're like, oh, I don't like people, but you still talk to these people every now and then, even though like, oh, well, this person's an exception. Okay. But you let a person who, and it could be anything. It could really be anything. So the person doesn't really appreciate you or certain aspects of that. So if you're offering yourself to be able to help the person, if you're offering yourself to, just making yourself more available to the person is being more available to you. You're actually depositing energy, and that person's acting like a mosquito. It could be with friends, it could be with love, it could be with just potential business partners. But if you notice more of your energy is going in than you actually really notice, then you're gonna have a deficit. Energy deficits do occur. We don't really know or are aware of them when they happen. But you're like, oh, great. Let me mute this thing. So you're like, oh, great. Look how close I am to the camera. Oops. Stone Man forgot to mute his other thingamajig. But yeah, you really have to create that void. So it could be the nicest person in the world, but you notice like, oh, something's wrong here. This person's zapping my energy. And it could be, it's not just your vitality energy. It's not just like, oh, I'm feeling energetic. It's like, oh, maybe this person was having love problems, and they just hung around me even though they're just a friend, and now they picked up some of your love energy. Because if you have a certain kind of like charm about yourself, and that person puts themselves near you, they'll energy transfer. So there's different categories of energy. I might talk about a future categories of energy, because I know there are certain people who will try to suck away certain energies from people. So there's energy such as, because your aura is there's so many different chakras. There's 112 to 114 chakras. So there's different opportunity energies of the sacral chakra. There's giving and receiving energies of the heart chakra. There is fluidity and control and motion of expression energies in your throat chakra. There's intuition energies. So if you've ever been around a person, you're like, my intuition's off when I'm with them, and that's why I'm hanging around them. It's because they're taking your intuition. Yeah, they're just literally zapping your intuition. They might have thoughts or ideas that were originally yours, but you don't know how that person realized your thoughts or ideas, and they took off with your thoughts or ideas because they zapped your intuition energy. Maybe you had a very strong connection to your guides, and then you were around the person, and now you're feeling kind of lost because that person was kind of lost. They zapped your crown chakra energy. You were feeling very grounded and rooted and very safe before you were talking to this person or around them. That person wasn't, but they were still a nice person. You gave them your time. Now they zapped some of your root chakra energy. So this gets deep. This gets deep. So there's different sections of energy. It's not like, oh, this person took my energy. Okay, with deeper investigating, what kind of energy did this person take? Maybe that person went through a breakup and they just needed a friend to talk to. And now you're feeling all these different kind of thoughts, and you're feeling kind of hazy, and you're feeling more insecure. It's because that person is taking that aspect of energy. They're not taking all of your energy. They're just taking a micro, they're mosquitoing a portion of energy without you even knowing it. It's a problem if they're actively doing it, because it's rare, but there are active energy vampires out there. They'll be like, okay, cool. I just went through a breakup. Let me just grab this heart chakra energy, and you'll be like, no, those kind of people, they're out there. They don't get very far because karma does eliminate them. I have seen it, but you have to really evaluate who's around you. So with those kind of people, give them 30 seconds of your time at the most, then bolt. Be like, okay, cool. It's nice to see you too. Like, oh, yeah, nice to see you. Give them a hi, a wave, just be friendly. You can be friendly. Yeah, that's your friend. You talk to them, but don't deposit time, because then little energy strings kind of zip and zap. And even you, I don't want to say you guys are taking energy as well. Like I said, it's a transference. It's a give and receive. So you get some kind of energy from them as well. So if that person has like a very fluid expression, a little bit of that expression goes to you, and you notice the more you talk to that person makes you a little more fluid, and that person helped you become more of a fluid speaker because they're such a good fluid speaker. Now the energy of them on their fluidity of speaking went down, and yours went up a little bit. It just kind of equaled out a little bit. Maybe you're both going up, but it just kind of equaled out before it went up. I don't want to scare you guys, but energy transference is the realest thing that no one wants to talk about. It can be kind of scary to some, because like, wait, you take, like, everyone, energy just swaps and intermingles. It's not energy stealing. It's literally everything's energy transference. So I can give you a good example. So what if someone who is around all these deadbeat friends who just don't want to do anything with their lives? Do you know how those people get ahead? It's because they remove themselves from those deadbeat friends, because that energy transference is just going like, just kind of mixing together. But that person withdraws their energy, deposits it in a friend group of people who are successful and actually have habits that do very well. You're not going in the group to steal their energy. You're going in their group to become a better energy by adapting to who's around you. You're going to surround yourself with better people, and you notice you have better habits because that kind of intermingles. So if you have about 5 friends who are all completely very successful, very good habit people, you're going to learn something from them, and it's not going to zap any of them at all. Unless you're just completely like just dragging them down, which you're not a good friend at that point. But you go in a group, and I've seen this with even successful, like extremely like successful people who just really didn't know better. So I'll see someone who's a multimillionaire. They have their own setup. Maybe they might own this like car company or whatever, and they just start hanging around with someone who doesn't really have anything at all, and that person is just like completely a drag, and they're always sad, and they're energy vamping without the person even knowing it. They're just a nice person, and they're good company to have around. But that person starts, the company owner, the multi-million-dollar company owner who owns the car company, is like, oh, I'm not feeling myself. Like, I don't have the same fluidity of speech. I don't have like the give receive aspect of who I'm around. Like, things start tampering because two different sides at an extreme equaled out. Energy always transfers. So who you're around, it's not vampirism. It's not to scare you guys, but tiny little just interactions. Because when you look at someone down the street and they look at you back, you better believe you guys just swapped energy. People are uncomfortable to talk about this. Like, people are just like, what is it? I don't want to swap energy. I claim my own energy. Well, even in Kundalini yoga, like, if you see me at the gym, I'm not looking at anyone. I'm looking upwards, because every time you look at someone, it's kind of like an energetic swap. It's kind of like an energetic exchange. And some of you who are true empaths with the gift of empathy, like true gift of empathy, and you haven't elevated the gift into other gifts yet, you'll look at someone and you'll see a facial expression on them, and you'll be zapped. You'll be completely zapped. Maybe that person, and I had that happen a long time ago. I remember I was at the gym, and this is really what made me realize to stop looking at people's faces. Even if it's a friend's face, you'll have to tap me on the shoulder and be like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh, I'll look down and be like, oh, because I'll look towards the firmament. I'll look towards heaven. I'll be like, okay, cool. I'm looking where I'm heading. I'm looking where I'm heading, heaven. Also, when you look upwards, you're activating your third eye. So I'll just be like, you're activating your third eye when you do that. It's actually engaging with the higher energies of the room. You're connecting with something higher in the entire environment. If you look at the ground, you'll notice you'll get more sad and more depressed, because ground is literally where all the people's feet energy goes. It's carrying a bunch of energy. It's when you look up, you'll feel a lot better. A little tip and trick for some of you: if you feel like you're always down, look up. When you look up versus looking down at the ground, like you're gonna feel pulled down when you look down, but when you look up, you're gonna feel a lot better. So I'll look up. It really helps me feel connected with my guides. I'll know where my guides are in the room, wherever they're standing, wherever they're moving around, because I'll just be able to feel it and I'll know where they are. But when you look at someone, this is my story. I was at LA Fitness and I know a guy and his girlfriend, and they've been together for a long time. I don't know what happened to them. I don't see them at the gym anymore. I hope they're still together. But last time I saw them, I looked at both of their faces and they looked like they'd just been yelling and screaming and arguing all day. And I just I looked at them. All I did was look at them and I was like, oh. I was just I just felt like a sigh of like when the air went out after I breathed out, I'm like, ooh, I felt a pull. I felt like a tug, like a rope on my aura. Like, you know, the the Dementors from Harry Potter. The Dementors from Harry Potter, when they go, ah, and they suck the face off the dude or whatever, like they suck the energy and the dude has to eat chocolate afterwards. Well, chocolate actually boosts your spiritual energy, so you can do that as well when you feel energy zapped. But people who have Dementor spirits around them or Dementor energy will Dementor your energy. That's a good example. I love my examples. I love doing this. I love teaching you guys because I'm just finding new examples as I teach this. But people will go, and you'll be like, because they just equalize you. They just sapped your energy, and it's like, oh no. So I look at this couple, male and a female, and I instantly picked. I mean, I knew everything they were going through in a half second, and I'm like, oh no. And I didn't talk to them because I looked away. I'm like, oh great, because it takes a half a second for energy to transfer. It could be all the energy. So you're feeling full of energy, you're doing wonderful. You look at someone who's just not, even if they're not showing it, like they're going through some stuff, and they're not showing it, but you pick up on it. Then your frequency and your aura and everything about you goes down. I know there's some really sad LA fitnesses. I mean, the gym, like some gym environments, some environments are lower vibrational environments than other ones. That's just how it is. Some entities are more likely to be in a certain environment. One LA Fitness, I stopped going to altogether because everyone in the gym looked like they're about to cry, and every time I entered that gym, I felt the energy of like sorrow and sadness and just loneliness. I'm like, why do I come here? And I just stopped coming to that gym. I'm like, it's like the lighting was bad. Everything about that gym was, and lighting is a giant thing as well. But this entire video is talking about different kind of aspects of energy transfer and who you let around you. I'm not rude to people, although I do know how to reject people's energy who do try to it's not them, it's the entities on them who try to put prongs and hooks into your aura. Sometimes you'll let someone close to you because they're the nicest, sweetest person in the world, but they're low on certain energies, and you'll notice after a while of them trying to hang around you or you letting them around you, they start perking up on energy and you start feeling anxiety, you start feeling worried, you start feeling like, oh, like I haven't seen this person, like what am I doing? Like why do people not want to hang around me anymore? Because your vibrancy got ripped out of you by that person without you even knowing it, even for a half second. So you'd be the nicest, sweetest person in the world. They're picking up energy from you. You're picking up energy from them, just from different energy centers. I mean, it's not even on a level of vampirism. It's just on an energy transference level. So be careful who you hang around, because you let someone hang around you who's the nicest person in the world and you think they're awesome and they're sweet and they're cool. It could be a friend. It could be just like, it could be a few friends. It could be anyone. Now you're zapped and you don't know what happened, because the way we feel sometimes is from the smallest little tiniest things of being around someone else, and we can never detect it. But when you catch it is when Stone Man made a video, because he notices different energy transfer. So even then, I'll notice certain friends in LA Fitness, or certain friends at the beach, or certain friends, because even at the beach especially, like I'll go to a different section of the beach, because those people, some people who are very low in energy and just sad all the time, like they're such good people, but they're just kind of sad and soppy. You have to remove yourselves from them, because they'll suck your energy, and then you'll feel sad and soppy even for a little tiny part of your day, and you're like, where'd that come from? Like, I was doing fine, I was doing excellent. I'm like, then you evaluate, you really break apart your day, and it's like, oh, it's because I talked to these people and they're not doing well. By the time they're done talking to you, uh, they're feeling good. And you're like, well, that person was feeling good when I was talking to them, but or when I started talking to them, they weren't feeling good. But when I stopped talking to them and they were doing fine, they just leave. Yeah, because that's your own energy going with them. And the energy transfer, you guys neutralize each other out. It's like an ice cube on a hot pan. You guys are both going to be equaled out. The ice cube will be melted. The pan won't be hot anymore. I really hope this guy's helped. I really hope this guy's helped. I really hope this video helps you guys in realizing everything about the laws of energy transference. Even if you have that one friend who's like the best friend to you ever, and you're noticing, like, you can be a good friend and be like, hey, you're being a sad sop. A good friend will say that, be like, get yourself together, because you're not going to take my energy. I'm going to make distance from you if you're going to be sucking energy from me. Like, you can flat out tell your friends that. Real friends are there for a reason. You're not insulting them. Just be like, I'm being real with you. I'm here to help you. I'm going to have to make distance from you if you're going to be a vampire. I've said that to certain people in the past. Like, hey, get your stuff together, or I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to come back to you in 2 weeks, and I'll see how you're doing. If you're not doing better, then I'll come back in 4 weeks. If you're still not doing better, you're not doing anything to improve yourself. I'm very direct with people. It really hurts feelings. People who are around me, they know. If they don't know, then they learn quick. I don't play around with vampirism or even on minor level. Like I said, the laws of energy transference are not technically, they're vampirism in a way, depending on the person, but it's just energy transfer. Everything's energy transfer. Even if it's a good person and that person is around you and you let them around you, they can zap your energy. Sometimes I'll flat out tell people, but sometimes I'll just be like, okay, bye. Just wait, take off, bolt, pick a different section of the beach, go to a different LA Fitness. I'm teaching you guys how I preserve my energy, how I stay so happy, is because certain people are not happy and they'll try to be around you because you're such a shining light, and they're going to try to take your light because, when you take a battery out of a flashlight and you put it into another flashlight, now that flashlight's on, but your flashlight's dim. Not okay. Decide who's meant to be around you and who's not meant to be around you. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao!